we'll begin episode 2 of Microstation Minstrel by carrying on with Mode 1, D minor, in the modern terminology, because it's important to stress right at the beginning the primacy, the absolute primacy of numbers and the obligation to musical education to drill the numbers until they become second nature. We will get on to C major, have no fear, but it will be presented in a context which I have never seen it presented in a music text before. From last time, you may remember that I divided the scale into segments, and I want to talk about that now. There's 1, 2, 3. That in itself is a whole lesson. There's absolutely no need to go ripping up and down the scale, and if a student gets any sense of that he's obligated to a whole 8 notes, or any kind of proficiency therein at the beginning, we're only adding an element of anxiety that is of no use whatsoever and quite negative. It's important to know that there's 8 notes in an octave, and it's important to know there's sections within the octave, and that's the important thing, and that those sections apply on either side. So we went There's no need for any kind of complicated fingering. That achieves nothing at the beginning except confusion. It's that understanding of the numbers, and the more you progress with this, the more you understand that there's nothing in the world more slippery than the numbers in music, because there's so many elements to drive them out of your head, not the least of which is the sound. Okay? Now, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 7, 6, 5, 5, 6, 7, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 1, 1, 7, 6, 5, 5, 4, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 7, 6, 5, 5, 6, 7, 1. All right, now, if that's somewhat clear, then we can move on to C, because that, of course, is the scale that everybody starts with, and you have to know it not only because it's the C major is the easiest scale because it has no black keys in it, but for a reason probably more important than that, because the black keys are actually not that much of a problem when you understand numbers. Fairly soon I'll demonstrate that ease by showing you C minor, which has 3 black keys in it, but they're not that difficult to understand if you understand the numbers. You just divide the C minor scale into its 3 major components, and away you go. So here's C major. Down to the lower 4. Now, some very useful terms from chant in terms of dividing the scale. We've divided it into 3 parts. That's simply, this is just another copy of this part, so there's nothing, it's just the same. That's just, we wanted to show you that way because of the range of the voice, and therefore the way songs are going to be written. But in chant, in the modes, the scale is divided into two very important parts, and we have to have a long word, two long words. The pentachord, penta from the Greek for 5, is this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the tetrachord for 4 notes, or for 4 from the Greek: 5, 6, 7, 1. And you notice that we repeated that 5. We didn't go 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you have to be very clear on the sections, because when you get into different keys, instead of starting at C, say, suppose we start at G and call this 1, and that's 5, and so forth. Well, then there's going to be a shifting of these sections. And if you've learned the sections thoroughly in one key, you have no real problems learning another key. But we'll stick with C for a while. So our pentachord: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 1. Now this one, the tetrachord, because it's only 4, it's a mixture of being more difficult than the other ones, simply because there's 4. Now the pentachord we can divide into two parts: 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. Now an example of a tune which I like to teach, in fact, to the oldest and toughest and world-weariest of students, I say, if you want to learn the piano with me, you're going to learn 3 Blind Mice. And they go, what? That's a kid's song. Exactly. Well, kids are beginners. Thank you for a cup of water. Now, there's a lot of theories on the origins of that song, and like most nursery rhymes, the origins are given as political. I prefer to think it was invented by somebody like Leopold Mozart or Palestrina for the sake of teaching children, because it uses the numbers in a nice sequence. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3. I won't do the next one, it's too long and I don't want to use up the time. But that shows you how we study in sections, and then how we can move to another key. If we wanted to do it in G, say, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 4, 3, 5, 4, 4, 3. Just like that. A little more complicated when we hit a black key, but still the same basic numbering. Another reason we start with C is because it's important to learn about something called halftones, because halftones are really what, the place the halftones come is really what determines how your scale works. And in C major, it's nice and easy, between 3 and 4, and 7 and 1. And they line up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So that you have this nice little square where you have 4 notes, and then the last 2 have the halftone between them, and then you have 4 notes, and the last 2 have the halftone between them. And we learn by patterns and shapes. So that's another reason for C major to be our beginning key. Kind of interesting how it just works out that way, or was designed that way. And then the final reason, for now, is that C major is the model mode for understanding all the other modes. Now, Oops. We did D, and we called that 1. So you say, okay, what are we going to call C? Well, the answer is that C, C major, is no longer an official mode. There is theoretically actually no chant music in C major as such, because C belongs to the G mode. No, does it? No, it belongs to the F mode, sorry. And that means that it is not a simple C major key. But I don't want to go into that at the moment because the F mode is a little complicated. We'll go back to the D mode because there's a number problem to be straightened out. That feels different than a C mode because we have the half tone coming between 2 and 3 and 5 and 6. That gives it the minor feeling. And it's of the 4 modes, it's the only one which is a pure minor. The other ones are pure major, and then something else, which isn't purely major and isn't purely minor, but is a mode and has an interesting sound to it, and all sorts of music written by it.